Chris, thanks for spending the time. Let me just dive straight in. StartWire, in a sentence, please.
Better job search, no black hole.
Internet's a big place, a lot of companies advertising. How are you telling us that the black hole may be over?
Well, to be clear, the black hole isn't over. What we're endeavoring to do is we're endeavoring to make it less dark. So, Mao once said, a long march begins with but a single step. We're taking our first step. And the way that we're doing it is actually relatively simple and fundamental. At least in North America and to a fair extent in EMEA, you have got employers that typically have more than 750 employees have their corporate career sites powered by applicant tracking systems.
Sure.
Most of the top-tier applicant tracking systems that power those corporate career sites provide job seeker self-service modules. So just like when you buy a book at Amazon, you can log in and you can see that it's at this factory and then it's in this truck and then it's over here and it's going to come to your house. Mm-hmm. These job seeker self-service modules and applicant tracking systems have some rudimentary capability along those same ways. So it will tell you, yes, we've received your application. We're reviewing it. You didn't get hired. You've been hired. It will also tell you the job's still active. The job isn't active. Now, those 6 statuses may not seem like very much, but when we were doing our market research and talking to job seekers, most of them couldn't even get that level of information. Number one, they didn't know that it existed. And number two, even if they knew it existed, they didn't know how to get at it efficiently. So what StartWire does at a very fundamental level is similar to what Mint.com did in the personal finance space, where you can plug in all your credit cards and your bank accounts and all of a sudden magic starts to happen. With us, you just tell us where you've applied, you connect your application to StartWire, and we check those basic statuses for you every 12 hours. Yep. And today we're actually announcing that you can get the updates via SMS text message. Right. So, you can basically be going along and on your bike and bloop, you get a note and it will give you an update on your statuses. Mm-hmm. What's interesting about the job space is for a very long time, everyone's focus has been on the employer. All right, and there's a reason for that. In North America, again, where I've got a lot of expertise, it's a $5 billion marketplace. Okay, $5 billion, big B. And who pays that $5 billion? Employers. All right, everyone gets that. If you treat job seekers better and you treat employers better, it's a good thing. But at the end of the day, when you're building products and you're building features, you follow the money. All right. My co-founder and I, Tim McKegney, we sold our last business. We wanted to stay in the space, and we're at the point in our careers where we wanted to tilt at a windmill. So we said, hey, instead of looking at the world through the normal lens, let's flip it around. We're figuring out how we're going to make money. Yep. We don't necessarily know, if we will, but the response that we've gotten has been so stark and so strong that I have to believe that we're going to, build it and they will come is actually starting to occur with us. So I think the key thing was just a paradigm shift, looking at the world from the seeker's perspective rather than the employer's perspective. Mm-hmm. We're making some money. The way that we're making money is that when you tell us where you have applied, we can suggest better jobs for you to look at elsewhere. Okay, so it's one of those things that if you take a look at job matching, we started with keyword. Then you're starting to see sites lay over a social layer. So find jobs by who you know. We actually think that the last best kind of point matching is going to be behavioral-based matching. Okay, sure. Because people say one thing and do another. Mm-hmm. And so what we've been able to do is we can bring in job content where we get paid when a job seeker clicks on a job. Yep. And we're able to suggest those jobs with a high degree of specificity because we know more about the job seeker. Now that scales very nicely. In the long run, to answer the question about what we're going to be, we see a lot of ways to monetize this. There's clearly an incentive for the employers to be better at engaging with their job seekers, and we believe that there's a business play there. We also, since we've launched this functionality, we've been approached by a lot of traditional players in the space. Job boards saying, listen, you guys are solving the number one issue that our research says job seekers have. We've got a lot of job seekers. Can you please bring, this service and technology to our users? And so maybe, we become a
vendor for the job boards. Yeah.
StartWire was the first product commercialized out of our business that's actually called Start Date Labs.
Yeah.
And our whole intention was to create a lab. And so, it's a garage, and our idea is to take a series of what people have thought are intractable problems and try and solve them. And it's been my business experience that if you have a problem that has enough emotional pain attached to it and you solve it, the business works itself out.
Yeah. Problem for you though, Chris, aren't companies going to be reticent to be part of that, in the sense that, hey, listen, we spent all this time building this this distribution channel for our vacancies. We don't want necessarily another company to get any kind of advantage on the back of that, because every time a guy comes and sees my job, they're going to see my competitors' jobs as well.
They already do that at Indeed and Monster and Career Builder. I could see that being a point that's made, and I can't argue with it. All that I'm going to say is that I think that jobs are ubiquitous, okay, and that jobs are everywhere. And if you're concerned about a seeker possibly seeing a job, you're trying to solve the wrong problem. So arguably, yeah, it'll be a coalition of the willing.
How does that exactly work? If I'm on LinkedIn, I connect through. Apparently, according to one of your videos there, there's certain people can see, if you like, if I'm interviewing a certain way or whatnot, but I can lock that away so that other people can't see it.
So this is interesting. I was on Quora the other day, and they were talking about there's a question string about hot new startups that are involving kind of combining jobs and the social layer. My thinking on the jobs and the social layer is that if you're in the jobs business, you're going to have a social overlay. It's 12 to 18 months. It's a feature, not a product. All right. You got to have it. People, whether you're on Monster, Career Builder, Indeed, StartWire, you want to be able to see the jobs, and you want to be able to see who at those jobs from LinkedIn and Facebook, period. So then the question is, that's just fundamental, and whether they're doing it now, they're going to do it in 18 months. The real question is, how do you interact with those folks? Okay, and there's two ways to do it. One way is kind of the branch out and jibe approach, which is, in essence, you hit a button and it posts to your bloody Facebook wall. Right? And it also theoretically, though I think either one of them do this, is kind of a more public status update. And this may be paternalistic, okay, but I believe that most job seekers, when they say share with my friends on Facebook, don't understand that that's going to be seen by a lot of other people that they don't know. And so we took a different approach. What we've done is we've built in the ability for job seekers to connect their interest in a job through the private communication engines that exist on both platforms, as well as Gmail and email. So instead of posting it to the wall, you can, I can send a note to you saying I'm interested in this job. Or one of the little special things that we do is, because the platform, kind of, you share where you've applied and your likes, we have basically a transcript of your job search. And so you can say, share my transcript with people that I know. So this is what I've done in the last week. Hey, guess what? Any ideas? And you can see, applied to this job, like this company, oh, I know somebody here, I can help you. So it's not just a specific job. And so, we actually have a relatively healthy internal debate. Okay, there's a philosophical debate about, are we being too paternalistic and should we just let people do this? And then there's a business debate that says it's in our best interest to have people actually post information that they find in StartWire more publicly, because it raises our brand. And so, that's one of the things that we've decided to take a more conservative approach.
Everyone's talking about you guys, even us in the UK that can't really use the product. We've got black holes here as well, Chris. When are you coming over here? What's going on?
Well, it's something that we built the product to be global. In my last job, I had the distinct pleasure to spend a lot of time in Europe building talent management systems. And one of the things that we need to intellectually sort out is if there are any data privacy issues that we need to address. That's always the big hurdle that a platform that's based in the United States with servers in the United States needs to address when we come to EMEA. That represents some of the challenges you see in the job board space, some of the challenges that you see in the applicant tracking system space. All of them are manageable. It's just when you've got an 11-person team and you're scaling in one spot, we've decided to stay focused in one area and then move that direction. But I've got a lot of folks. There's a lot of interest in the UK and in EMEA in general, and we're going to be coming soon.
Where are you guys at the moment, actually, Chris? You're sort of at some kind of open beta at the moment, is that correct?
It's a Google News beta. I mean, we're going to be in beta for a long time because we're a dynamic platform. It's kind of like when a carpenter walks into a house that he or she has built, they immediately see, the wall that isn't exactly plumb and the thing that's over there. And, I look at the platform and in the words of Reid Hoffman, if you're not embarrassed by your first release, you waited too long. All right.
That was going to be my next question. How did you guess that? Because I've been reading that Reid Hoffman interview all over the place. He's almost as ubiquitous as StartWire, that guy.
That's very fun.
And yeah, I love that quote. If you're not embarrassed by it, then you must release the product at the stage when you're still embarrassed by it. So, what is it about StartWire that you'd like to fix if you had the chance and the time to do so?
Well, the reality is it's still, in my opinion, way too hard to use. Okay, there's a Zen Buddhist principle of kanzo, Kanso, I think, and it's the basic principle is kind of power through simplicity, and I mentioned Apple earlier, but there's lots of examples of something that is just so blissfully simple and it just works, and the reality is that especially in the job space, I don't think there's any product that has met that standard yet, but it's one that we still are striving to get to so that, as soon as you come in, you can answer a few simple questions or do a few simple things, and then we start to create organic value for you. And so we're on our way, but we've got a long punch list, and it's going to be coming. It's an excellent question, and it's a good one, and I'm going to demur from it, primarily because, again, with the gray hair that I have, I've suffered through one too many young entrepreneurs, and I still happily count myself that way, talking about how they're going to rule the world. And our objective is not to rule the world. Our objective is not to, kind of necessarily dominate anything. Our objective is to, 10 years down the road, when people look back at this time, they say, there were a couple companies that really helped push the marble forward, and we just want to be one of those guys. Yeah. And so it's a process. It's not a destination.